Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of a new book that we have out. It is called Transformative Leadership, Self-Mastery for the New Voice of Business Success. And before I introduce Amy and Christy to you, I just need to give our lead author, Jill Austin, a huge shout out. Thank you, Jill, so much for just who you are, your big ass vision and mission for this topic and this book, and just the way that you brought these stellar experts gathered around you to serve in this way on this topic. I'm so grateful and honored to be here with you creating this world-changing book. So today we're going to talk with two of our authors. Amy Camo is a nationally known marketing executive and author of Every Storm Runs Out of Rain, leading a healthcare marketing team through a global pandemic. And I also have Chrissy Scott with me. She's a senior vice president and chief marketing officer of Virtua Health in New Jersey, where she focuses on humanizing the language and experience of healthcare. This is going to be a fun conversation with you two. I'm looking forward to it. Amy, you first. Tell us the why behind this leadership chapter for you.
Yes, absolutely. So when Jill asked me to contribute to the book, I immediately said yes. And because one of the reasons I wanted to is to tell the story about how to be an authentic woman and mother working in the workplace and not have to compromise on your values and still be successful at it. So people who read my chapter will learn about how some challenges in my life have shaped that philosophy and showing up as your whole self at work and modeling that experience for others, because there aren't a lot of people. More and more people are doing it now, but there really aren't as many people who feel comfortable modeling that behavior in the workplace because they're afraid of it having negative repercussions. And I just chose that I was going to be the change that I wanted to see in the world. And so that's what my chapter is about.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's back up to afraid of negative repercussions for just a second, because this is the place where we bust out of the box and change things for people. Tell me a little more about that.
Well, some people in the past have, I mean, probably currently now, especially women in the workplace, are afraid to say that they can't be at things because of they have childcare issues or they've got things they need to do for their children. Because there's been this sort of longstanding, I don't think it's a true belief that women and that mothers are not reliable in the workplace because they're going to prioritize their family over their work. And I don't believe that. I think you can prioritize both. But the only way you can start to break down those barriers is actually sharing that. So some of the things that I talk about in my book and my tips at the end is, if I can't make a 7 a.m. meeting, and in healthcare, there are a lot of 7 a.m. meetings because I had to drop my son off at school. I tell people that instead of saying, I'm sorry, I can't make a 7 a.m. meeting, I say, I can't make a 7 a.m. meeting because I have carpool duty that morning. So at least people understand that you're not just ignoring them or being difficult, but you really do have an important conflict that is a family conflict that needs to be prioritized. Because at the end of the day, you're with your family for the rest of your life. You're not with your business for the rest of your life.
It's a really good point. And, you know, it's kind of ironic because working moms are some of the most responsible, organized people I know. They can handle it all. And what I'm hearing is clear and specific communication. Anything else you want to tell us about that? If someone's listening today and they're the mom and they're struggling a little bit about that clear communication, how do I be brave enough to speak it out? And why shouldn't I be afraid to?
Right. Well, and I would say it's for moms and for dads too. I actually learned this, the person who modeled this for me I actually took it one step further was a male boss that I reported to. And he would say, I can't make that 6 p.m. meeting because I have a family conflict. And so he would just say family conflict. He wouldn't go into further details. So if people are concerned about, going 100% in on the mom card, you can say you've got a family conflict, and don't let people, you don't have to tell people why. I chose to tell people why I need to leave early this day because I want to go watch my sons play, or whatever it may be. But you can also do it simply, like just blocking time on your calendar. So what I did early on, so that people wouldn't schedule over important times, especially when my son, he's a teenager now, but when he was a lot younger, I would do drop off because it was easier for me to do drop off, and my husband would do pickup because of my hours. It was easier for me to get in early, take him to school and then work, and then have more flexible time for work in the afternoon than vice versa. But I would just block on my calendar, drop Josh off at school for the hour that I knew it would take me, or hour and a half, to get ready, take him to school, and get to work. And so that would force people to look at my calendar and say, do I really want to schedule over that time? And if they do want to schedule over that time, they know they know what they're doing and asking. And I need an advance notice so that I can rearrange my schedule. Or they know that I'm going to be on the phone in carpool line, which they probably don't want that either.
That could be challenging. Amy, thank you for saying yes to this project. And thanks for being here today to share about this.
My pleasure.
You're modeling courage in the workplace, even just in this discussion. I'm always so grateful and honored to be having these discussions with you, because somebody hears it in the way that you're communicating it, and the light goes off and they're like, all right, I've got a path, right? Chrissy, how about you? Tell us the why behind your chapter.
So thanks, Laura, and thanks for shepherding us through this process. It's been really joyful and a really great experience. The why behind my chapter was I wanted to talk about the pivotal role that creativity plays in inspiring a brand and a team culture. And I particularly wanted people to see that you can bring creativity even into a serious space like healthcare. Throughout my whole career, I've always wondered, why do we do things the way we do them? Why do we call things what we call them? And finding that inner power to challenge and to say, like, why not do it a different way? Why not say it a different way? And then giving teams permission to explore being more original, being more approachable, being more empathetic in a very personal environment and industry such as healthcare. Why does everything have to be so sterile and so formal and so strict and so unapproachable? And if anyone can change that, it should be the marketing and communications team.
All right, give us an example, maybe a personal example of, and I laughed a few times out loud at some of the things you were talking about, because I don't know, just I fall in love with making up new words and, just having fun. I mean, again, yeah, like you said, why not? But what else do you want to tell us about that? Give us an example of what you maybe have done in the past.
When I did not necessarily think I was going to go into healthcare, and when I got there, I was this creative spirit in this new environment, and I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to find ways to bring something special to this place. I mean, healthcare, is everyone needs it, so why can't we do this? And I would approach my work, and one of my very first bosses, she came out to me and she said, this is a very serious business and there is no room for creativity here. And I thought, whoa, no room, what does that even mean? And even simple things, this is the way I looked at things. If I were putting something together, one of my earliest memories is using a dandelion to depict hope and kind of just like childhood whimsy. And one of the board members said, "You're going to use a weed?" And honestly, until that moment, I had never looked at the dandelion as a weed. It was just something you blew wishes out into the universe with. It was like a weed. And it started me on this idea of, people look at things differently, but why can't you look at them more joyfully? Why can't you look at them with a more special lens?
Great example. I'm just sitting here thinking about one of my doctor's appointments coming up, and I can envision their waiting room And so as you were talking about this, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to put a little suggestion in the suggestion box about why can't they play some cool music in the waiting room and just let us relax a
Yeah.
little bit. But it's always like, if there's any music, it's always like this funky elevator. I don't know what kind of music, like, why can't we have more fun? All right. So you both are going to have maybe a little different skew to this, but I love listening to the answers to this next question. Christy, I'm going to stick with you for this one.
Sure.
So what is transformative leadership to you?
I think if I go to the theme of our book about being the change, transformative leadership to me is having the courage to see something that could be, should be approached or done differently, and taking that step forward, being, doing something about it, and inspiring or encouraging and motivating other people to perhaps see that vision and want to be part of it with you. And so in a marketing department, we have so many opportunities all the time. And we have the ability to communicate and to bring other people along within the organization. And they're looking for that. They're looking for that vision and that clear idea of a new or a more innovative way to approach the daily work, to approach the patients and the consumers and each other. And so it's taking those steps, it's doing something to make the change.
I love that. Yes, it's doing something, not just thinking about it or dreaming it up or planning it or whatever. Yeah. All right, Amy, how about you on this? What's that definition to you? What do you want to add to that?
Well, I won't just say ditto to what Chrissy said, but that's kind of what I want to say. But yeah, I mean, for me, it is so much of modeling the type of leadership you want to see in the workplace, and not being afraid for it to be different than what it looked like before. There is an opportunity and there's space within the workplace for all different types of leadership, and I truly believe you need all different types of leadership to run a great organization, to lead great people. But to me, it was really just stepping out, for me personally, stepping out of my comfort zone and trying little things here and there to be a different type of leader. And with each step having success with it, I took more and more risks in modeling some of that behavior. And, to this day now, people will share with me that they appreciate that I'm that type of leader, which is a different type of leader than you always see. And sometimes when you're in the, Christy and I are both in marketing, right? And we both chief marketing officers at our organizations. And sometimes people see chief marketing officers as needing to be sort of these larger than life, very visionary, creative, extroverted people. I am not that. I am an introvert and I'm a collaborative leader. I become extroverted when I'm with my people that I'm comfortable with. And for a while, I was like, well, maybe I'm not the right type of leader for marketing because I'm not that type of person. But then I realized we all don't have to be that way. You can be authentically you and lead your team and still be a transformative leader and an effective leader in the workplace. So that's what I think about when I think about transformative leadership.
I love that you brought that up. I often say I'm an extroverted introvert, extroverted when I want to be, when I can be. And what you said about when you're comfortable, what just definitely resonated here too. I love these books for this reason that you both are modeling right now. And that is because when we talk about this topic, we need all your unique voices. So bringing in all of these experts to talk about their way of seeing it is really modeling that kind of leadership that I think you're both talking about. And I love it so much. And I'm so grateful to both of you for taking the challenge that I gave you to not only give us these practical tools, and you're master teachers, so that is a gift, but to back up and let us get to know you a little through that story. And you did it so brilliantly. And I thank you both for that. So Amy, I'm going to stick with you for this next question. Self-mastery is a part of the theme of this book. It's in our subtitle. It's a part of what transformative leadership is. And when Jill and I talked about it, we talked a lot about that self-mastery. We've all been on a version of that journey in one way or another. What do you think was one of the foundational things you had to master on this journey?
Oh, that's a good question. So the title of my chapter is Catalyst, and then the quote that I use is actually one of Ginny Rometty, excuse me, I pronounced it correctly. She's the former CEO of IBM, and also a Northwestern grad. I went to Northwestern for my undergrad as well. And she has this classic quote that means so much to me, and is growth and comfort do not coexist. And for me, making change or stepping out of your comfort zone is, for me as a collaborative leader, I'm a firstborn, being a, natural people pleaser, doing something that's uncomfortable for myself is something that I've had to master. I mean, across the board. And I would say 9 times out of 10, every time I did, it had a positive effect. But it's not my nature. And so for me, I have to continue to push at that. And again, I think if we're talking about being introverted, it's also a part of that, is like taking a step out of your comfort zone to do that. And I'll give an example that was early in my career. When I was working in the performing arts, my boss at the time, I was in my 20s, and she announced that she was leaving. And so I got up all the courage I had, and I just marched right into the general manager's office, and I told him, I said, "Hey, I want her job." And he's like, "Huh, oh, okay, well, we'll make you interim." And so, I mean, it was as simple as that. So he made me interim, and then, several months later, I ended up getting the job, and, it was a transformative for my career. And so I realized, okay, it's good for you to deal a little bit with the butterflies in your stomach when you're about ready to do something different, because that's the adrenaline you need to do something different and have the energy and the confidence in going in and asking for that change or trying to make that change. And so Jenny's comment, or her quote, and then this concept of self-mastery and transformative leadership all together really inspired me to just share different examples of how I've stepped out of my comfort zone for positive impact in my chapter.
I love that so much. I call this purpose-driven fear, and the discernment between that thing in you and the "no, this isn't for me" thing in you. That discomfort is a game changer. Y'all are hearing these golden nuggets of awareness today. I hope you're all listening closely. Chrissy, same question for you. Like, what was that foundational thing on your journey that you had to master?
I'm going to kind of continue Amy's theme a little bit. There's a mantra that I keep close to me and I share with people I care about being fearlessly authentic. And in healthcare, Amy and I are surrounded by brilliance. I mean, brilliant people work in healthcare. And it would be easy to take our skill set and feel small among that brilliance, because healthcare is about discovery and cure and healing, and we don't necessarily do those things. But our power is in our words. Our power is in our creativity. And for me, that self-mastery was about realizing that it belonged in healthcare, and therefore I belonged in healthcare. And that creativity in how we do things and how we communicate, how we show up, how we use our words very powerfully is actually the difference maker that creates our brands, that creates our cultures. And we have brilliance and power that may not have been clear to me before being fearless in my approach to my work. And so for me, being a part of this book with other people who are being brave in their words and sharing their leadership journey felt like the right place to be. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity.
For sure. It's making me smile because all of you, again, I'm probably just repeating myself, all of you coming together to do that.
Mm.
It's felt power. It's palpable. And the ripple is huge. And I love the collaborative spirit of every single person in this particular book. This book has a collection of souls, you guys, that stepped up in terms of these things you're hearing today, of the awareness, taking responsibility for their own path, making great leaders out of other people, mentoring, supporting, all these beautiful, beautiful things. And I just think you're all badass. So, Chrissy, lastly today, think of the listeners and they're on this leadership journey. They are developing their own leadership style. What's the most important thing you want them to know as they do that?
That the fear and the anxiety they might feel as an emerging leader is also power, and it's also going to teach us things. And so, embrace it, lean into it, understand it, feel it, and then use it for the good that you want to create. And go out there and try and do things differently and bring your teams along, light those teams up, let them feel what's possible and let them know it's okay that we're all different. In fact, that's what makes a great team, is being able to share all of our kind of collective selves and our collective brilliance that we bring to that. So emerging leaders, existing leaders that just want to be better or want to try something different. I think there's something in this book with all of the different leaders' insights for everyone.
Oh, no doubt. Definitely. Chrissy, thank you. Amy, how about you now? And you're just going to kind of close out this show today with your answer. It is hard to go second on these things because I would say ditto to everything both of you said today. But, you're talking to the listeners, they're developing their own style. What's the one thing you want them to know?
To me, it is, you want to be authentic to yourself, but you don't want to take that authenticity so far that you can't bend to meet people halfway. So I encourage people, especially early in your careers, get out and meet people, grow your network, talk to people, whether it's your network within your organization, an organization as big as Emory, where I work, we're 25,000 people. It's that collaboration with other departments is so key. And so for you to be successful in your role and to be successful as your authentic self, you have to get to know other people's authentic selves and know how the power of 2 or 3 or 4 of your authentic selves together can really, in our cases in healthcare, make a difference for the health of our patients and our communities. And that to me is so important because people are going to be different than you, and that's a good thing, but you need to understand their why in order to help bring both of your whys to importance in a successful way.
I love that. That is very powerful. I'm thinking part of what we're doing there is we are creating a safe space for authenticity, no matter what. And when someone feels safe to be their full on badass hippie warrior love self out into the world, then things change, right? And it's such a gift you give when you do that. Amy, Chrissy, thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thank you both for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you, Laura.
It's my pleasure.
So maybe you heard something today, you guys, that gave you the goosebumps or lit a fire. Maybe you have a question or you're wanting to continue the conversation. I have both Amy and Chrissy hooked up with their links down below. This is way more than a book. This is a generous community who's ready to answer a question, give you that support, help you with that next step on your journey. So come connect with us. You're invited to the book launch party. We're having that on October 3rd, and information for the Zoom is down below. We're going to be together with all of the Transformative Leadership authors that day celebrating. And of course, you can go over to Amazon and pick up your copy of this beautiful book today, you guys. Lastly, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.